Hey there, Aquarius. Welcome to your reading for the next 3 months from July through September, quarter 3 of 2025. You have this card. It says, you are enough. You don't have to give more. I feel like you've had cards like this with me before that say, you are enough. You have this review your responsibilities. It says, not all your responsibilities are ours to hold. So, yeah, a lot of people have had the devil in these readings and in the July readings as well. And so I do think it is a very important time to kind of like examine the responsibilities that you're holding because they might not be yours, or at least not all of them could be yours. And, we only have so much energy to give. And we also have a Mercury retrograde in July that runs from the 17th of July until like basically the 12th of August. And so I do think we need to be careful of like who gets what energy from us, right? And I would definitely pay attention to that with these cards for sure, because you only have so much to give, right? I also think, and this you are enough card literally says you do not have to give more, right? So I think that is also very important with that card, is that, it's basically saying you don't have to give more in any situation. This could be in work or business as well. It's like funny, as someone who's worked with a ton of business people in business for a very long period of time, it's like I've noticed always that there are like two kinds of people. It's like there are people who will kind of like negotiate their price and all this other stuff, and those people always seem to be struggling. And then there are people where it's like their price is their price and they do not negotiate, and those people I find are always very successful because it's like, well, take it or leave it, right, type of attitude. And it's like when you have that attitude, you don't seem desperate. And I'm not saying this has to be business, but again, I think that type of attitude of going in and knowing your worth, right? It's like, obviously, if you can't back it up, then that would be a problem. But, obviously, if you have the goods to back up what you're saying, which this card says you are enough, then, things will go very well for you. You have the Two of Cups, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Hermit. This is coming up in your general energies for the next 3 months, so definitely could be love coming in for you over the next 3 months. You have the Page of Cups, which is like my general admirer card, so, it basically just says there could be a admirer coming in for you. Two of Cups usually starts as communication and then kind of goes from there. Two of Cups is also usually a person who is very different than your usual type. That these two people are meant to look different for a reason. And I do feel like some of you definitely could be attracting like a very spiritually guided connection, something that's a little bit more, it's like directed by the universe is kind of what's popping into my head. So if you want love, definitely a great possibility. The other thing about this card is that this card does represent like you and your higher self and needing to tap into your higher self energies more, and that's what I would do with the Two of Cups. You have the Knight of Pentacles. I feel like you are making progress over the next 3 months for sure. Looking at the rest of the reading, it looks really good. So I would say that anything that you're working towards, I think you are making progress. I do think it would be an amazing time for you to like pick one thing that you really want to accomplish and just make it happen over the next 90 days for sure. This could be like one goal or one achievement. I always look at the Knight of Pentacles as kind of like one step. It's like, what's one step that you can take every single day that will get you closer to whatever you're trying to accomplish? And again, I think you might just surprise yourself. I feel this intuitively for you, Aquarius, that, if you do that, I think you might just be surprised with like what you can accomplish in a very short period of time, right? So that's what I would be doing there. You have the Hermit. I think you need more attention. This is going to keep coming up for you for like 20 years. It's like as long as YouTube is still around and if I'm still reading in 20 years' time, then I would say that you are probably going to get the Hermit between now and 20 years from now. Pluto and Aquarius really saying that you need to be the star. And he has the star in his lantern, and he needs to shine that star out all over the place. So, like, he needs to show the world what he's made of. And I feel like that's what you need to do. The Hermit reminds us that it's like we've been through the hard part. He's been through the dark night of the soul. He's done with his journey. The problem with the Hermit is that it's very tempting to stay in Hermit mode with the Hermit. The other problem I would say is that we have the South Node in Virgo right now, North Node's in Pisces, of course. The thing about people, like people who are born, for example, with the North Node in Pisces and South Node in Virgo, their past lives, they could have been hurt by a person or a situation. They could have literally retreated to the mountain, right? They could have literally become a hermit because of the hurts that they have experienced in the world, and they held back, right? That's like their past life. So, right now, for the next 17 months or 16 months, whatever it is, we're going to have the South Node in Virgo and the North Node in Pisces. So I think that all of us need to make sure that we heal the hurts that we've experienced, but the types of hurts that require us, or have made us retreat. And we need to make sure that we expose, like ourselves, like not literally. Don't get arrested, Aquarius. Don't do illegal things. That's not the type of exposure we're talking about here. But we're talking about that we go toward the thing that maybe hurt us. And I'm not saying the exact thing, but if it's like love, it's about realizing that not all love has to hurt, and that you can have a positive connection, right? Or that you can even go love other things, and you don't have to be in isolation. So I would, get out of isolation with that card, for sure. Let's see here what we get. With the Two of Cups, you have the Ace of Swords. Definitely, you have the Ace of Swords twice, which is great. Ace of Swords is a victory, can represent overcoming obstacles. This could also represent communication coming from a person. So if you're looking for love, this could be a love person that is communicating with you, and I would say that it looks really good. I think that, if you're attracting love, this could definitely be something that is very positive, makes you very happy, leads to a lot of joy and happiness as well. So I really like to see that. With the Knight of Pentacles, you have the Page of Swords. Yeah, I would get curious about your work. The other thing I would say is, like, where can you do more work is what's popping into my head. And I'm not, I think we are in a really bad time for burning yourself out, because, we could very easily get burnt out this summer with the energy. So I think that really, like I said in all the 2025 readings, we need to pay attention to efficiency. We need to do what is efficient, not necessarily hard work, right? But the thing is like, there are things that you do that you probably get a better result from, and so I would say, like, that is what I would be putting more work into, the things that are important, that actually move the needle forward, so to speak, and that's what I'd be paying attention to. Also, if you want love, it's like clearly someone's watching someone here. It could be both of you. I don't know. Intuitively, I kind of feel this is two people who are watching each other. So, I don't know, take it how it resonates, but it's like someone's got to make a move. The problem with the Knight of Pentacles is that the Knight of Pentacles can be no movement. And so it's like someone has to make a move here. Didn't I say this in your last reading, Aquarius? I'm pretty sure it was you that I said this in the last reading. It's like someone has to do something. With the Hermit, you have the Queen of Wands. Yes, it's like you are very attractive, and I mean that in the broadest sense, right? The Queen of Wands is the card of seduction. But I'm not saying this is just love that you are going to be attractive to. I think the Queen of Wands can say you are attractive to bosses, like, that want to hire you, or you could be attractive to a boss who wants to give you a raise, like that form of attraction, right? In every sense of the word. And so I think you need to use your powers of attraction. And again, it doesn't matter what gender you are. This can be all of you. And I feel like you need to, like, make yourself a magnet. But it's like you are. But the Hermit has to, like, put himself in situations where he can be a magnet. It's like he might be a magnet for love, but if he's staying in isolation, no one knows that he exists, right? So he has to put himself out there. And, that's just one example of what I would do here with the Queen of Wands. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you this quarter, you have this Great and Full card and this Sacred Reverence card. Yeah, I think you need to follow your heart. Both cards are heart-based cards. Sacred Reverence is like, what do you revere? What makes you happy? What fulfills your heart? And those are the things I would be putting more energy into. The Great and Full card always reminds me of the Ace of Cups, of course. So, there could definitely be a love connection coming in for you with that card. You have the Hangman, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Eight of Pentacles. The Hangman is about seeing things from a new perspective. Now, every single person basically has had the Hangman as well. We have Uranus going into Gemini, and yes, I understand that this card represents Pisces, but It's also kind of very Gemini energy because the hangman sees things from both perspectives. Gemini is all about being able to, Gemini sits on a fence. Gemini can see both perspectives of pretty much anything that they are entering into or looking at. So for all of us in the collective, with Uranus going into Gemini, we are probably gaining some surprising, points of view, or we could be gaining some surprising, ideas of how things can work. I don't know what word I'm looking for is, but some inspirations or some other points of view, other ways of looking at things, and we should move towards those other ways of doing things, or we should at least do the research and understand them. So again, don't be surprised, Aquarius, if you get surprised with the Uranus in Aquarius or the Uranus in Gemini energy. I think a lot of people are going to be surprised. You have the Queen of Pentacles. It seems to be like a really good time for money. I said that at the beginning of the year, and also recently I said that like starting in June, money seems to be a little bit better. I still don't think it's perfect. I mean, it's going to be far from perfect. Money is changing. Mark my words. By the time we get to 2026, there will be something different about money. And I know that's a broad statement, but literally Neptune rules anything that flows. I've literally been saying this and warning people about this since 2016. You can go to my live tab on my channel, go to the oldest lives, and I used to talk about this all the time. That by the time we got to 2026, there would be significant changes in money because Neptune in Pisces rules anything that flows. Neptune will be retrograding from Aries back into Pisces this year. Then next year, at the beginning of the year, it moves back into Aries. So, again, mark my words, that is going to trigger some sort of change. Never mind the fact that all the other stuff that's going on. So again, there will be some sort of financial change. Keep an eye on your finances and you'll be fine. Queen of Pentacles is also about being resourceful. So using your resources will lead to more success. You have the Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles, like straightforward, diligent work. Eight of Pentacles is about keeping things simple as well, which I do think would be very good for you, Aquarius. Like anything that you're working on or building or creating, he's just doing one thing and he's seeing it through to the end. So anything you're working on, creating, or building, just doing one thing, seeing it through to the end, and making it happen is probably going to be the best thing for you. Let's see. With the Hangman, you have the Ten of Wands. You have this card that says review your responsibilities. That's literally what Ten of Wands wants us to do. Ten of Wands, I personally consider a good card. He's carrying these 10 Wands, which represent his harvest, and he's about to reach his home in the background here on the card. But some of those wands might not be his. Some of those might be other people's responsibilities. And he needs to look at those responsibilities and say, are these responsibilities mine or do they belong to someone else? And I can't answer that question for you, but I would make sure that your responsibilities are your own. And if there are any obligations or responsibilities that you don't need that are slowing you down, I would get rid of those things for sure. But Ten of Wands is still good. He's about to have a harvest, so a lot of you are about to have a harvest. Yes, with the Queen of Pentacles, you have the Sun. Best card in the deck. Makes the whole entire reading more positive. The Sun basically says the Sun is shining on you. So there could be a lot of attention or joy or happiness coming in for you with the Sun. There could also be like a lot of guidance with the Sun card, so I feel pretty good about that with the Sun card. The Sun is also about focusing on ease, which definitely is coming up for you here in this reading. This baby is carrying this big banner here, and the whole point of the card is that the baby doesn't look like he's struggling to carry this banner. He's doing it very easily, and that's the whole point of the Sun. The Sun says there's hard ways to do things, there are easy ways to do things, and basically choose to be simple. Choose to do things the simple way. That will be good for you, Aquarius. With the Eight of Pentacles, you have the Lovers. Told ya. I literally said it on that Two of Cups that there's something divinely guided about this connection. The Lovers is literally divinely guided love. This is their higher self angel. And the higher self angel is guiding these two people together. So I literally feel that there is it's like you are being guided towards something, or someone is being guided towards you with the Lovers. And I think it's going to make you very happy. So if you want love, definitely looks very good. I really like the Eight of Pentacles for love because it's like the Eight of Pentacles is work. And so obviously you could be attracting a person who really puts the work in, or you really put the work in, which is great. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this revisit card and this observe card. I do think for you and Leo, your opposite sign, if you have Leo in your chart, this is 200% true for you. I would say if you're just an Aquarius with no Leo, this is maybe like 150% true for you. So still true. Still freaking true, Aquarius. If I were a Leo or an Aquarius, I would be looking at something that I thought about doing years ago. And I would be thinking to myself, how can I reinvent this idea? How can I take this, business idea I had, or, it's like maybe even when you were a child, right? Maybe you had some ideas of like what you would be when you grew up, right? And I would be thinking to myself, how can I make this relevant now? Even if you don't think you can do it, right? Even if there's something that you don't think you can do that you want to do, how can you do it anyway? It's like, the best example I can, I try to explain this to people. There are no gatekeepers right now. Like, let's say you wanted to be an astronaut, but maybe you have some physical limitations, or maybe you're just not smart enough. Let's be honest. Maybe like 0.01% of the population is smart enough to be an astronaut. Plus, after the whole Boeing thing with them getting trapped up there, I wouldn't want to be an astronaut anymore either. But what you could do is like maybe you can't be an astronaut, but maybe if you revisit it and you look at it and you come up with another way of doing it, maybe you could start a YouTube channel talking about space, right? It's like not the same, but kind of the same. You're basically doing the same thing. You're just talking about it, right? Or maybe you share space news on YouTube, right? It's like kind of similar, but different. Again, if I were an Aquarius or a Leo, this is absolutely what I would be doing. I would be looking at what I wanted to do years ago, and I would be thinking like, how can I make it different but better? And there you go. Mark my words, if you do that, you will be successful. You have the Ace of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Six of Swords. Ace of Swords is your inner truth. The Two of Cups with the Ace of Swords is your inner truth. Again, Two of Cups is you and your higher self. The Ace of Swords is your truth. And so if something is your truth and you live it, your chances are you're going to be more successful. And that's exactly what I would do with that Ace of Swords. You have the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune can be your fortunes turning in your favor, which is great. You show up on the Wheel of Fortune right here as well. So whenever you show up as yourself, it kind of puts you in a position of power and strength. But again, the Wheel of Fortune can be your fortunes turning in your favor, or kind of you creating a turnaround. I do feel there's some sort of fear that you have to face at this time. We have the snake here. Snakes are guardians of portals. Snakes represent fears. Snakes kind of represent needing to face a fear or needing to overcome a fear to cross through a portal. And so, everything, I've been saying it for years, everything you want is on the other side of something you've never done before, or the other side of fear. So we all have to face fears right now to get what we want. You have the Six of Swords. Six of Swords is moving on to calmer shores and heading towards improvements. So I think that a lot of you could be creating a lot of improvements at this time with the Six of Swords. I think a lot of you could be heading towards calmer shores, which would be a good thing for you as well. I also feel that, the Six of Swords, there's like a little bit of a blank canvas type feeling here. So again, if you are revisiting an old idea and you're upgrading it, you might feel like you're starting over, but really you're not. You're starting from a place of knowledge and wisdom. With the Ace of Swords, you have the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords is self-imposed restriction, only seeing one way of doing things. Again, Pluto and Aquarius, the solution to the next 20 years is to see all the ways of doing things that there are. And so if you stay open to all the ways of doing things, then you'll be fine. With the Wheel of Fortune, you have the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is about seeing things clearly. In a lot of ways, I feel you are seeing how you can create change at this time, which maybe that's been blocked for you or you just haven't been able to understand it. And, sometimes I do think we have those breakthrough moments where it's like, oh, I know what to do now. And I kind of feel that on that Queen of Swords. Here you go. With the Six of Swords, you have the Seven of Cups. Every reading I do for you, Aquarius, you're getting the Seven of Cups. So Seven of Cups is being spoiled for choice, having a lot of options, having a lot of different ways that you can do things. And, staying open to all the ways there are of doing whatever it is that you're trying to do will probably lead to more success. So that's what I would do with the Seven of Cups. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this Dolphin Spirit. Says, stop taking life so seriously and splash some joy in your everyday life. Yes, I think you need to have more fun. You have this Divine Infinity. It says, challenge yourself to go beyond your limitations and you'll find your infinity. Yes, I definitely think that everyone has to do this right now. Again, everything you want is on the other side of something you've never done before. So it's like, obviously, you might have to face some sort of fear. Or obviously, you might have to push yourself past that point where you would normally give up on something to be successful. But showing up in the good stuff, so if you do it, you'll be happy. Again, everybody needs more fun and joy in their life right now. Basically, I think when things get too serious in the world or bad things are happening in the world, the universe obviously wants us to get it to go in the other direction. So we have to bring more fun. We have to be more lighthearted, more playful, right? If we do those things, good things will happen. You have the Five of Swords, the Page of Cups, and the Queen of Cups. The Five of Swords is normally about walking away. It can be a card of like trying to win at all cost and things like that. But the Five of Swords can also be about taking some sort of risk. And so he's like taking the risk of walking away from something that no longer serves him. I do feel that some of you could be taking that risk in any area of your life, but it's coming up in the good stuff. So it'll probably be a good thing. If you are taking any risk in general, this kind of says that any risks that you're taking will be a good thing. You have the Page of Cups. Definitely could be an admirer here. I kind of feel like this is two people who are watching each other. So I don't know. I feel like I've said that to you before as well, Aquarius, so I would make a move. Literally could be any sign. You have like everything here. And again, the Page of Cups to me is a very general admirer. Like, sure, you could say it's a water sign, but like I always say, to me, this is my general admirer card, so it could be any sign. The Page of Cups is also about your dream, and I do think it would be a good time for you to like bring your dream down to earth. Again, Hermit with the star in his lantern. The star is about bringing that star down to earth. And so I think a lot of you need to like bring your dream down to earth or need to manifest your dream. You have the Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups is about following your heart. She really values what her heart is telling her to do. And so I think that a lot of you need to value your heart. Like your heart is trying to guide you in a direction, or your heart is trying to get you to do something with your life. And I think that it's going to be very important for you to like follow your heart with that card for sure. With the Five of Swords, you have the Three of Cups. A lot of you, this has been coming up for you, that some of you could be separating away from like a group of people or a person, and not necessarily in love, by the way. This could be like just a person at work or in your life in general. And I feel like you are kind of like finding your tribe. As a matter of fact, Aquarius, I'm pretty sure that in your July reading, I said something about you finding your tribe, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of you could be like finding your tribe or finding a group of people to belong to. And, obviously that could be a good thing. With the Page of Cups, you have the two cards. You have the Moon and the World. Wanted to pop out with that World. So, this could be a person at a distance. Very dreamy. I'm wondering if that's a little bit of a problem here. Even though this is coming up in the good stuff here, Aquarius, it doesn't matter. It's like sometimes I think we can, it's like we can have too many fantasies, about a person. And so if the person becomes a fantasy, it makes it like harder to make it a reality. And the world is about bringing something down to earth, right? So it's like maybe you need to stop putting a person on a pedestal. This could also be vice versa as well. It might be the other person that needs to not put you on a pedestal so that they can attract you into their life. I don't know. Take it how it resonates, but definitely popping into my head. The other thing is that this could be distance. So again, you might be attracting a person from a distance, and that could be part of the problem. With the Queen of Cups, you have two cards again. You have the Nine of Cups and the Three of Pentacles. Nine of Cups is like a wish, so I would definitely make a wish. Whenever the Nine of Cups comes up in the good stuff, I always say make a wish. I don't look at the Nine of Cups actually as a wish card outside of the good stuff, because the reason he's getting a wish is because he's in alignment. So really it's a card of getting into alignment with your wish, and then you will get it. Three of Pentacles is teamwork. Again, if you are attracting love, definitely feel that you could be attracting a person who really puts in the work. Definitely could be like a dream come true, for sure. I also think like the whole entire reading says it's time for you to put your work on display, Aquarius, right? Hermit, Sun, especially this right here would say that it's time for you to like make it a point to put what makes you special out into the world, because if you do that, you will be very successful. You have this ladder card. It says climbing towards success. Clearly, very successful reading. Ace of Swords twice. World, which is an accomplishment. Really good cards. So definitely some sort of success coming in for you. You have this horse that says short journey on it. World, again, it could be like short, long distance. Like maybe you're dating a person who lives like an hour away, or something like that. So, there you go. You have this pin card. It says new job, career. I do think some of you could be getting new jobs or careers. Really, I think it's time for some. I'm not saying that all of you have to do this, obviously, but some of you could be working for yourself more. And so if you have a desire to work for yourself, I would. I would do whatever you can to make that happen, Aquarius, for sure. You have this funnel. It says period of frustration, lessons to be learned. Funny enough, I actually like this card. I always say this is how life works. We have a goal in mind that's way out here. And then we start working towards that goal in life, and we bounce off the sides, right? We are in this constant state of readjustment. That's how life works. We go one direction, we make a mistake, we bounce off the wall, we go the other direction. And, really the point of life is to funnel faster, is to get more specific faster, because that's how we'll get a better result. So I think that card should just be called life. You have this chain card. It says chain of events that will affect your life. You and Pisces are like connecting the dots more now. I think that you are looking at things that you've been through, things that have happened to you, and you're just like seeing why. I think you're seeing like, things are adding up, which is maybe nice. But this looks really good, Aquarius. I like it. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your next 3 months.